In this video, we're just going to take a look at a slightly different way to go about solving linear equations. In this method, which we'll refer to as, say, the tramline method, we're going to keep track as we go along the way of what changes we've made so that it is more obvious when we look back over what's happened in each step along the way of solving out the equation. Now, the point is still going to be to get to a solution at the end where we can say that our variable, and in both of these cases that's going to be x, we're going to have to get to a point where we can say that x is equal to and a number. But we'll be able to follow the steps along a little bit better as we do this time. So what we're going to do is when we get our equation first, we draw lines down along either side of it, as you can see has been done here. And what we're going to do is we're going to write just outside the lines whatever change we're making to either side of the equation. And we're going to make sure that we write down the change on both sides. So for example, we've got our equation here is 2x plus 16 is equal to 24. And since we hope to get x on its own on one side of the equation, we have to start moving things away from x. The first thing we have to start moving is anything that doesn't have an x attached to it. And that's this 16 here. So we have a plus 16 on the left side of our equals. In order to cancel out a plus 16, we're going to minus 16. But if we do that to one side of our equation, we have to do it the other because we have to make sure to keep a balance. So we're going to have a minus 16 over here on the right hand side. Our left hand side is now going to be just 2x because our minus 16 cancels out our plus 16. So we have just 2x. And then our right hand side, we're putting a minus 16 in here. So we have 24 minus 16. Well, that's just going to give us 8, like that. Because 24 minus 16 is 8. So now what we've got is, we've got a x multiplied by 2 is equal to 8. So we want to get rid of this multiply by 2 bit that we have here. Well, to cancel out a multiply by 2, we're going to put in a divide by 2. So we divide the left hand side by 2, and we do the same thing to the right hand side, we divide by 2. So 2x divided by 2 is just going to be x, because the divide by 2 cancels out the multiply by 2. And 8 divided by 2, that's just 4. So we get down to x equals 4. And that's our solution for that particular equation. But that one was a very short one, a relatively straightforward one. What are we doing? We've got when we've got x's on the other side and we've got numbers that need to be moved around and stuff. So let's take a look at this equation over here. We're going to go one step at a time with this so we can make sure that we're keeping track of what's happening as we go. So with this first one here, we have 7x plus 40 is equal to 2x minus 10. We want to get all of our x's to the left of the equals and all of our numbers to the right. So we'll start by moving this plus 40 here. We don't want a plus 40 on the left, we want it on the right. So what we're going to do is, in order to get rid of this plus 40 on the left, we're going to take away 40. But if we take away 40 from the left, we have to take it away from the right to maintain a balance. So what we're now going to get is our next line down is going to be 7x, and we don't have a plus 40 because our minus 40 cancels it out. And it's going to be equal to 2x. And we're just going to write it in this time so we can actually see it. So minus 10 minus 40. So that's where our minus 40 comes from on the right hand side. And now we can actually do that sum out. So we get 7x is equal to 2x minus 50. Because minus 10 minus 40 is minus 50. Okay. But we still have a 2x on the right hand side and we don't want it there. We don't want any x's on the right when we're solving this out. So on our right hand side here, we're going to need to get rid of our plus 2x. And we can do that by taking away 2x, so minus 2x from our right hand side. But if we're taking away 2x from our right hand side, we have to do the same thing on the left. So we get minus 2x over here. So when we do that out, and again we'll write it so we can actually see it, we're going to have 7x minus 2x, and that's going to be equal to what's left behind on the right, which is minus 50, like so. So we're keeping track each step of the way of what's going on with this. Now we can do out this sum on the left, 7x minus 2x, that's just 5x. So we have 5x is equal to minus 50. But we want x on its own, so we need to cancel out this multiply by 5. Well, the opposite of multiply by 5 is going to be divide by 5. And we do the same thing on the other side. We divide by 5. So 5x divided by 5, well that's just x. And on the other side we're going to have minus 50 divided by 5. Now I'm actually going to write this out just again so we can see what's happening. Minus 50 divided by 5. And if we actually do that sum out, minus 50 divided by 5 is equal to minus 10. like that. So that's just a slightly different way of looking at how you can go about solving linear equations by keeping track of all the steps you've done just along the side of your equation like that. And that's that.